Now let's start off with, I think everybody should have a run that's an easy sheltered run that they can learn on, that they learn their remounting on, they learn their downwinding, their recovery, and it should be fairly unthreatening in that you do it when you're going to have a lee shore and an onshore breeze. The one that I learned on, it's my personal favorite, I call it the funnel run, is I go up here to Fort Story and I launch out, and this is on a northeast wind. It's usually best at 26 to 31. Wind coming out of the northeast. A little east-northeast is best because northeast tends to, like if I'm going out here, and then this is it here, this arc, you'll see that the runs that I have in here are the green lines with the little red X's on them. So the one I'm talking about, my funnel run, I go up here, I park my car, paddle out as far as I dare. You know, if I'm by myself, it's a little bit less than if I'm with a couple buddies. And this is straight into the wind and into swell. And then make a turn and just run this kind of parabolic arc right through the inlet, which means that you're in some of the deepest water in Chesapeake Bay is right here. So you're getting good open swell from the open ocean coming right down on a northeast or an east-northeast, coming right in the bay. And it's in this deep water, so it's big, kind of lined up, long period swell. And then as it starts to hit this shallower water, you know, your ride progressively gets faster and steeper and faster and steeper until you get onto these shoals coming in the inlet, and then it's just a blast. Another run that's really good, that is another inshore kind of close run that we like to do. Let's say 26 to 31 out of the west, or even a little bit southwest, to keep you offshore, is to go here from a place we call Ocean View, the beach launch there again, and run all the way down, and then again come here. Can you see this on there? This is the ocean front. Ocean's fun too. There's an inlet down here called Rudy Inlet that we can come out of, and then on a you know, let's say 21 to 25 mile an hour south wind, southeast wind, you can do that. You can run right up the shore. And I have friends that do that. If we get a little bit of a southeast wind and there's swell, they'll do that on big race sups and stand-up paddle boards, and they don't mind getting into that sawtooth along the lee shore, because then they're just surfing waves and they just paddle back out and surf waves all the way down the beach. It's a little bit harder in a ski because you don't have rails and everything, and it's a pain in the ass constantly getting caught inside, or the potential to get caught inside. And then there's the big one. This one's like, if it's like mountaineering, this is like the Everest that everybody talks about. It's not really that big a deal, but I think it's just because we can drive across it and look at it so much time, and it's just that idea of crossing the bay is to go from Cape Charles to Cape Henry, or vice versa. But it seems like mostly we always talk about Cape Charles or Cape Henry. This is the route here that we've done a couple times. It really turns more into a parabolic arc in reality, because usually you have current coming out here kind of swinging you out, and the wind's never like directly lined up with it. We've done it in probably 26 to 31 right after a hurricane with a lot of water coming out of the bay. It was Matthew. It's like 2 days after Hurricane Matthew, and it was just a nice pretty day, and we were off from work and we just did it, but probably not the greatest idea safety-wise. It was fun. I mean, don't get me wrong. A lot of water coming out of the bay, so we got swept way out. But you come down, you shoot through under the high rise. Drive a truck across, park it up here, launch, come down this channel, shoot the bridge, come across, and on these big days, this is terrifying because it has no order to it when you look at it. There's just stacks of waves shooting up everywhere. So we avoid that, and then you come across this one. That's pretty fun. And then each one of these channels gets really cool too. Like the waves kind of lay out. You come across like 3 or 4 or even 5 different sets of conditions of like wave shape when you come down doing this downwind. It's really kind of cool. I'd say 26 to 31 are good. At 32 and above, and if I start getting blown off my boat and having trouble controlling my paddle, I mean, that's just me personally. I know there's guys that can do it. I wouldn't do that one on 38 to 43. And then there's always a potential to watch these shipping channels because those big ships can't stop. Who is a pilot, and he says, I can't do anything even if I see you. So because they can't stop those boats, they can't steer them, the big ships. So it's up to you to avoid them. And then one that I really like, a buddy and I started checking out last fall, actually last winter. And this will work 32, 37. This will work in a lot of conditions. But like on a northwest wind or even a direct west wind, driving across this bridge here, I think it's just the Chesapeake Bay Bridge, excuse me, and then launching from Buckrow Beach, and you come, and it's really cool because it's in the lee of this land, the wind is, and it's like super smooth here, and you're like, oh man, there's no wind at all, this is going to take a while, and everything, and then all of a sudden you get out here, and you start getting a little bit more wind, and you're moving faster than the little chop, and then all of a sudden right around here when the water gets deeper, the chop's moving the same speed as you, and then all of a sudden you get into this channel and you're running down the edge of this channel, which is 60 feet, and it's where all this swell coming down the bay, you know, even if the wind's coming from this way, all this swell is coming down the bay, and it's hitting the edge. It's kind of spreading out on the deep water of this channel, and then it's hitting the edge of it, and it kind of stands up. And you can run right down the edge of that channel straight out to sea. It'll it'll want to take you. You'll want to keep going out to sea. I have actually really wanted to go straight out to sea, but then the paddle back would be a nightmare. And you can shoot the bridge, go through, this is the drop for the tunnel, and then come across and come right into to Cape Henry. Just tag the end of Cape Henry, get somebody to pick you up, have a truck there. Or I think even better, and when the wind's like a little bit more like this, an even better option is to come in, and then we go into the Little Creek Navy base and land there. You got to watch because a lot of ships come out of here, a lot of fast-moving ships. Another buddy who's a merchant marine guy or an NSN who drives one of those catamarans, and man, they come firing out of there. So another thing, remember, is there's LCACs here, and I have another buddy who drives LCACs who say stay out of our way because we cannot see you at all because they have so much spray on the windshield. So you know, hazards everywhere, especially in all this, because there's dredges out here too. Come around, come down, and then you just kind of cut across all these shallows. The waves stand up really good and come right into the beach. Boom. And it's a quick run. But what I'm getting at is that all the different angles. I mean, look at all these different wind angles that are optional that you can find something out. North, come straight across the bay. Northeast, haven't done this yet. I would think that on an outgoing tide and a northeast wind, this would be awesome. We've always done it on this wind here. I also haven't done this one. You get a due south wind, a good south wind, and just go straight back. You can also, there's potential to go from here to there. That's about a 20-mile paddle. So there's plenty to be explored and to be done. But I'll just come back to this. The key to doing all these big water paddles is this right here. This little 3-mile run, for me, personally, that I cut my teeth on because this is deep water. So I get the feel for deep water. It's a lee shore, so when the wind's blowing like this, I can, if I lose my boat, if anything happens, I get hurt, I break my paddle, I can always just paddle in here. You make navigational mistakes, get into the piers in here, you can paddle back out, or you can just hit the shore and walk home. That's the key, is practicing on that. And then slowly branching out to these ones, you know, to these shorter ones. And then, and in gentle conditions, right? In this 21 to 25, or 26 to 31, you know, and then when the conditions get real big, starting to look at these big ones. It's easing into it, not just jumping in. But I just wanted to show this because anybody anywhere can look at this. I mean, you look at Durban and all the bays and stuff they have there. You look at those guys over in Tarifa and the bays and hooks and the prevailing winds they have. The places that are great for downwinding, and also up in the Northeast, have all this topography and these different angles that you can play all these different winds.